Legan is holding Kanju's head and both of them are looking at each other. Dr. Tai's girlfriend sees Kanju and Legan outside and hides. Kanju repeatedly tells Legan, "My head is my head. Leave it," but he does not let go. Then Dr. Tai comes and says, "What are you doing? Quickly, leave Kanju's head." Legan sees that Dr. Tai's girlfriend has left, so he releases her. Kanju says, "What has happened to you? After today, don't ever touch me again. Understand?" Dr. Tai says, "I am warning you. If you trouble Kanju again after today," Legan, in anger, interrupts. "Then what will you do?" Dr. Tai replies, "We will change your doctor." Legan asks, "On whose permission will you do it?" Kanju says, "He is crazy. Leave him. We will leave from here." As both of them start leaving, Dr. Tai says, "Today Dr. Yu's overtime is scheduled, but he has some very important work. Will you work overtime in his place today?" Now Dr. Tai is requesting her, so Kyung-ju doesn't even think and says yes. She wants to have dinner with Dr. Tai. But Dr. Tai leaves, saying he has some important work to do, meaning that after handing over his girlfriend's work to Kanju, he himself goes to have fun with his girlfriend. Legan had heard everything, so he goes to Kanju. He comes and holds her hand, saying, "Come with me. Tell him that you will not do overtime," but Kanju says, "I don't want to go. Leave my hand." Then Legan says, "This is not your job, but are you still going to do it just because that doctor told you? After all, there is no need to obey everything the doctor says." Kanju says, "You are crossing your line. Stay within your limits." Then she starts leaving, but Legan tries to stop her by holding her hand. When Kyung-ju releases his hand, Legan accidentally gets a small cut on his face from the key ring. Kyung-ju also says some things to Legan that make him feel very bad. He becomes very sad. Kanju says, "You are around me too much. Don't come near me," and she goes away. But at night, when she was working, she had thought too much about real life and started feeling very regretful. In the morning, when Kanju comes to the lab, coffee was kept on the table for her. There is also a note stuck on that coffee which tells us that Dr. Tae had kept that coffee there. Then we see Legan at his house. He is taking a bath, and then Lee Sin completes his run and returns home. Legan comes out and, while choosing clothes to wear, says to Lee Sin, "I looked for my wallet and phone everywhere but couldn't find them anywhere. It's so strange. That's why I will buy a new phone for myself with your credit card, and until I get my wallet I am going to use your credit card." Lee Sin doesn't even refuse him. Legan has not informed the hospital, so Lee Sin calls Professor Han and forms the license to go out. When he comes out of the house, Gu Bang is standing outside. Actually, Gu Bang has been called by Lee Sin so that he can stay with Legan all the time and not let anything go wrong. Then we see Cyan, who calls someone. Cyan turns on the TV and learns that Lee Sin has a semi-final match today, so she quickly gets ready and leaves for the stadium. But on the way, she starts helping an old lady. However, two boys come there and start teasing Cyan and harass the old lady. Cyan does not say anything to those boys, ignores them, and continues helping the old lady. Meanwhile, we see Kanju standing nearby. When Cyan sees him, she goes to talk to him, but Kyung-ju ignores her and goes away. When Kanju reaches home, she sees that Cyan has not even washed the utensils after eating, and neither has he fixed the bed, which makes him very angry at Cyan. Then we see Listen, who is busy preparing for the match. Mr. Hung brings new shoes for Listen and asks him to wear them. But Listen's mom tells him that Listen should not wear those shoes because he is not comfortable in new shoes, which may also spoil his match. When Listen's mom and dad go to meet the coach, Mr. Hung tells Listen that sponsors are very important because without them you can't do sports. He says to wear them because they need money to hide his secrets. After meeting Listen, when Mr. Hung is leaving, Legan arrives. Mr. Hung asks him if he got the contract signed by Chas-yeon. Legan says he came to know that Chas-yeon is practicing here, so he has come to talk to him only about the contract. Once he gets the contract signed by Chas-yeon, he has to keep his promise. Mr. Hung says not to worry about it at all, because he never goes back on his word. Then Legan meets Chas-yeon, who asks him if he is okay. Legan tells him that he is fine now and that he is here to discuss Big Picture Agency's contract with him. Chas-yeon says he wanted to play tennis with Legan and asks if he would like to try. He suggests that they both be on the same team, and if they win even one set, he will sign the contract. Legan thinks about it and agrees. Legan starts playing with Chas-yeon. Listen's semi-final match also starts. Legan does not serve well even once, while Listen is able to score directly. Legan is not able to receive even a single ball properly, nor is he able to touch the ball. Meanwhile, Listen is playing very well, scoring a lot of points, and he wins. Ligan, playing tennis after 15 years, plays poorly and loses. When Kanju wakes up, she realizes that she overslept. She quickly calls Professor Han and asks if he has started Ligan's therapy session. Professor Han explains that he has postponed the session because Ligan has gone to Listen's tournament. Kanju asks why he gave him permission to go out. Professor Han says his friend is with him, so she doesn't need to worry about anything. Kanju says, "How can I not worry? He will meet many people there. If he remembers his bad memories, then it will be a big problem. That's why I am going there to bring him back." When she reaches Science Stadium, she sees Listen's poster, which she defaces with a marker, which makes us understand that maybe she knows Listen and is angry with him. Lee Gun sees her doing this, but he doesn't say anything to her, just looks into his glasses, fixes his hair, and walks away from there, causing Cyan to say to himself, what a madman he was. The guards see that Cyan has spoiled the poster, so they catch Cyan and throw him out. Then we see Listen. His mom is angry at him because today he was playing very slow. Actually, Listen was wearing new shoes, which made him a little slow because he was not comfortable in those shoes. However, he does not tell this to his mom because if she knew, she would get even angrier. His mom says that a lot of people have placed expectations on him, so he should not do anything to spoil his reputation. We see Kanju standing outside, who overhears everything. She sees Listen very sad, which makes her feel bad for him. Kanju asks Mr. Hung if he knows where Listen is. It turns out that he has left from there. After some time, Kanju and Listen meet at a convenience store. Listen is very upset and her mental condition is not good, so Kyungju spends a lot of time with her and she with him. They go to eat mint chocolate, and at the same time she is also taking his therapy session. She explains to him that it is not necessary to obey what others say every time. He should not put so much pressure on himself and should think about himself a little. He doesn't even think about the things that make him happy. Sometimes he should do those things too. She says many more things to Listen and explains them very well. The two of them spend the night talking. In the same Legan hospital, Lee Sin is feeling much better after spending time in the doctor's and nurse's labs, so he thanks Kanju for today. Just then, a notification comes on Listen's smartwatch that 1 million won was spent on his credit card at a beef restaurant. Kanju is gone. She tells him to take care of himself and starts leaving from there. Then again, he gets a notification, and this time 700,000 won have been spent, so he calls Legan and asks him why he spent so much money. After spending time with Listen, he tells him that he is in the hospital and asks him if he is also there so that he can take back the credit card from him. Listen is also outside the hospital, so he starts looking around and sees Listen. But when Legan goes, he lies to her that he is not in the hospital at the moment. Listen says to himself, "Hey, I forgot to return Kanju's key ring." Hearing this, Legan gets very upset. Lee Sin starts calling Kanju. But then Legan comes there, knocks her down, and also falls, due to which Kyungju can't see both of them. She asks Listen if she is hurt. Listen says, "You said you were in the hospital. If I'm not there, how did you come here?" Legan asks her for the key ring and tells her that the ring is Nurse Kim's. After hearing this, Lee Sin gives her the key ring. They both lie down on the ground and talk to each other. They start talking. Lin tells her that today he played tennis after many years and he liked it very much. They both start remembering their childhood. In childhood, whenever Lee Sin lost any game, he used to cry a lot. Legan used to motivate him. We also come to know that at that time, Legan's dream was to become the greatest tennis player in the world. Legan says that in victory and defeat, even if you lose, what does it mean? When I used to play tennis, I did not take any pressure at all. I used to do only that which made me happy. That is why it is not necessary to win every time. It is important to do the work which gives you happiness. Listen feels very good after hearing this. Legan says, "I regret not being able to fulfill my dream." Listen says, "If it is so, then I will fulfill your dream. I will become the world's greatest tennis player for you." Listen starts laughing and says, "Why would you fulfill my dream? It is a dream, you should fulfill it. Look, it is not necessary that we will get what we want. We cannot achieve everything. We can only give our best to achieve those things." Lee Sin learns a lot from Legan's words. We see Kanzo's mom and Sian talking. From Kanzo's mom's words, we learn that when Kanzo was little, she was very happy and cared a lot for people. But the day she saw her dad being murdered, after that day she became a different person. She shows people that she is a very cold-hearted person, but in reality she is a very soft-hearted person. When Legan wakes up at night, she sees the cut on her face. It seemed that there was a bed there, leaving her wondering who had done this. The next day, when the nurse comes to see Ligan, he was sleeping and then the nurse left, but we came to know that it was not Ligan. Rather, it is Gu Bang who has come to meet Mr. Hung along with Lin Chasen. Cha Xian signs the contract paper in front of Mr. Hong, but Li Gun does not give the contract to Mr. Hong. Li Gun gives Mr. Hung an envelope, and inside it they are shocked to see that it has a resignation letter. Legan tells them that he has opened his own agency, and Chas Hon has signed the contract paper of his agency. Knowing this, Mr. Hung gives more interest and says, "What? You are the same Ligan I knew." Ligan says, "I don't remember how I was before." Then he leaves with Chasen. Then we see Kang Ju, Professor Han, and the director eating dinner with the minister. The minister says, "I am here to talk about budget approval, but I heard that the documents are not ready yet, which were sent from the UK." Kai Young, who had forgotten that his luggage was exchanged with Liang, did not take it back from the minister. They are given time until tonight only to submit the documents. If they are not able to submit the documents on time, then their budget approval will be shifted to next year. Kanji says, "Don't worry, I will send the documents today itself, and then she will come to the hospital." She is about to ask Listen about that luggage, then she remembers that all Lagan's bad memories have been erased, so she won't remember where the luggage is. She thinks of asking Listen, but then she remembers that today is his final match, so Kyung calls his mom and tells her everything about that luggage. There is no one at home, so Lagan's mom sends the password of the house to Kanju. Kanju quickly goes to Lagan's house. She reaches Kay's house and starts searching for her luggage. Meanwhile, in the hospital, the nurse and Dr. Tai come to know that Ligan is not in the hospital. His friend Gu Bang was sleeping in his place. The nurse tries to call Kanju to tell her the same thing, but she doesn't pick up the phone because her phone is on silent. Kyung-ju goes to Ligan's room where she finds her luggage. She quickly starts leaving with her luggage, but at the same time, Ligan comes home and sees Kanju. When Lee's son is coming home after winning the finals, Cyan blocks his way. Cyan starts smiling after seeing him. Lee's son gets shocked after seeing Cyan, and the episode ends here. Guys, how did you like this episode? Do tell me by commenting. If you like this video of mine, then like the video and subscribe to the channel to watch further episodes. I will meet you in the next video. Take care, bye-bye!